pull numbers.
I don't see a resolution in front of me.
Is she coming?
What's she trying to do?
Just trying to get it, so I basically have to put on a tinfoil helmet and
Just
Oh,
rub
so
my
it's
hand
separate.
my belly to try to get
Your-
this thing.
right.
It drops
pull
me
a name
out.
out, number out of the hat, 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Sometimes I put
You
it
know
on
what I'm
like
talking about.
I like the
wireless
distance
hotspot.
from home
Huh?
thing.
What?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I appreciate
You're
it.
gonna be Division 4 football this year?
Yeah, I just talked to her.
4 teams?
There might be more, there might be, Laconia's coming down.
Coming back.
Right.
Just waiting for them to
That's situated.
Is Cameron coming or not?
She's over there.
Yep.
We're figuring out tech for Scott.
What?
Figuring out tech for Scott.
Tech issues.
Hey, Scott's the new infield rep.
What? Oh, we gotta switch that. Yeah, switch. Let's, yeah, make sure those match. Who would that? Diane, what's yours say? Or no, it's probably
No,
not.
Scott 90 to switch.
No big deal.
I do.
Oh, yours said one. There.
Just something.
Yeah, I had to reset and I had to go to the window to get my cell phone.
Attention to detail.
Every now and then, like right now, like I can, if this drops, I'll connect to a wireless hotspot on this, because I have more service. For no good reason. They're on the same network.
I'm independent. I'm the
Don't let
state,
anybody persuade me.
I'm the state rep.
Don't let anybody persuade me.
I'm running for Congress. At least the guy from California has resigned.
So that's back in Texas.
And there's another one resigning.
There's 2 more that are gonna be going down tomorrow.
I saw that too.
Yeah.
I want someone to.
Good start. Good start.
It's a good start, yeah.
All right.
Send it to me.
Tech resolved, mostly.
How many characters does it need to be? Count 'em.
16, uppercase, lowercase number
Sucking
symbols.
this light
Use
out
a
of
sentence. It'll be like sandwiches, peanut butter and jelly,
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
26,
All right.
exclamation point.
I'll doodle on out of it.
All right, are we all set then?
Yeah.
Everybody good? All right, so we have a hearing, we have a public hearing notice, so we're going to open a public hearing on the proposed $60,000 donation from the Jack and Dorothy Byrne Foundation for the Sport Enhancement Program pursuant to RSA 198:20-B. This hearing begins now. We open the hearing. So, this is the donation from the Byrne Foundation. Just reading in your packet here, we do have a note about this. Amanda, do you want to, or Tina, do you want to further on
Yeah,
this?
this is just funding for Coach Joe, who has, that will be his 3rd year, I believe, working for us, 2.5 year, working for us. Having a mental performance coach has been instrumental for a lot of kids in the district. He does a pre-season survey and a post-season survey, and I wasn't necessarily sold on having him back again, and it was the kids that just could not say enough good things about him. So it is an excellent donation for a very good cause, helps our kids perform very, very well in all different sports venues.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. It's good to hear. All right, any public comment on this? Anyone from the board? Anything else? All right. Wonderful. Okay, so it is 6:04. We can close the public hearing, and we can call our school board meeting to order. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. First thing on our agenda, we have approval of minutes, public and non-public, from March 24th. Someone like to make a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the public and non-public minutes from March 24th.
I'll second.
Okay. All right. Any comments, questions, corrections, concerns on anything with that? There's a lot of moving parts. Thank you, Kamala. All right. Non-public, everything good? All right. Seeing no other comment, all those in favor of approval of minutes, public and non-public from March 24th, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Abstentions. All right, public comment. Any public comment at this time? No. Okay. And you guys have a presentation coming up, so. All right, consideration of public comment, consider that. And the Royal Review, you have a presentation, the floor is yours.
All right, do I have to speak in?
You don't have. Well, no,
actually,
Seth,
makes
you
more
do,
comfortable
Seth.
if you
Yeah, you should.
Yes,
Should
the
speak into it.
recording can't hear.
Oh, yes, we want to capture this, so, all right, cool.
Yeah, go ahead. So my name's Damian May. I'm a English teacher at the high school, and I'm here in my capacity as the advisor for the Writers Guild, and also represent the Art Club to present to you the second edition of the Royal Review, Mascoma High School's literary magazine. I'm introducing Skylar Martin and Cheyenne Grace tonight. They are both active members of the Writers Guild and the Art Club, and they have work in the magazine. And they're going to talk a little bit about, what it was like creating the work for it, what it was like putting this together, and answer any questions you guys might have about this. So, Cheyenne and Skylar, the floor is yours.
Once again, Art Club and Writers Guild have collaborated to create the second edition of the Royal Review. The Royal Review is a magazine showcasing students' art and writing pieces, giving them an opportunity to publish their work for peers, faculty, and the community to enjoy.
In the magazine, it features dedications to teachers who have greatly impacted our education, written by our lovely editors, featured on the first page. It also includes poems and short stories paired with a photo or a piece of art, and awards for the pieces are mentioned if awards were granted. And overall recognition and publishing opportunities for our talented writers, artists, and photographers. Does anyone have any questions for us?
Anyone from the board? Any questions?
This is really beautiful.
It's
Fantastic.
beautiful
Like,
work.
I'm such a paper nerd,
Congratulations.
having worked in printing for a long time. Like, this is gorgeous.
I had not very ready. I wanted to actually listen.
Well
to this.
done.
The editing and putting it together is the work of two students, Aaliyah Westgate and Jaden Bates, who could not be here tonight. But you can tell they worked extremely hard on this. Our plan for this year was to put out 2 editions, but I think what we learned is just, this is a tremendous undertaking, and getting one of these to you was, it took a lot of time, effort, and dedication. And, I think the work in it speaks for itself. I think they did a fantastic job. I like the cover this year more too. I think Silas's photography is just fantastic. So.
It's been really cool to see all these kids develop and to see this in the second year of you doing this. This is really cool. That's all I can say.
I love that it's all in one place, like photography, art,
Yeah.
poetry, writing. It's very, very cool.
What kind of skills did you guys learn as students, putting this together? First of all, what year are you guys?
I'm a freshman.
Okay.
And I'm a senior.
Did you see? Okay. So what did you learn from putting this together?
A lot of collaboration, working with our peers on editing and giving each other good feedback was one of the main things we learned. And it makes stronger writers and artists.
I also agree with that. Finding feedback coming from, especially in my position, older people who have been writing for longer definitely helped me a lot.
Awesome.
Did you guys have an artist pair with a poet to come up with the pages, or did you sort of try to find pieces of art that matched the poem that was already written, or what was your process with that?
Usually, we take the art pieces we kind of get as submissions and try to pair them with writing pieces. Same with the photographs.
And then was anything made after the fact of this is a really great poem, but we need something to, do you sort of get it?
There's a lot of times where, Miss French, the art teacher, she'll have artwork from her class, and if we find something that's really great, we'll encourage that student, hey, you should really submit this.
Nice.
The other thing we do is we do have a theme for the magazine, so this time it was masks, which we broadened out to identity, and also time. And so that helps to focus what kinds of pieces we get so that, they do pair rather nicely.
So cool.
This is really neat. Yeah.
Yes.
This is awesome. So we'll make sure to have some copies at the SAU, probably,
100%.
and then obviously here at the high school.
We have
Yeah.
They're in the office, they've been in the library.
And all the offices, yeah.
I think I owe the library some more copies.
Oh,
actually,
yeah.
so I can do that.
The town libraries? Or
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
So we can do
Absolutely.
that as well.
This is great. Any other questions from the board?
Would you do it again?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you
Well, I know, I figured you would, but as students, you
Yes.
would, I know it's a lot of work. You would do
Absolutely.
it again. Good, yeah, this is really, it's outstanding.
How often did you meet?
We meet every other Tuesday. And sometimes we have to throw an extra meeting in case extra things are needed.
Deadlines and such.
Crunch time.
Yeah.
The editors meet more often just because, that's a very rigorous part of the process, and there's a lot of, they need to get feedback from me and from Ms. French on that part, so, the editing probably took about, when did we have pieces due this year? In October, November?
November, I think.
November, so yeah, it took a few months to get the editing, really locked in and figured out, so.
Cool.
These are all very real world skills that it takes to put these together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, after developing a portfolio and having deadlines and having the theme and all that, all, it's great.
Have you guys set a theme for next year? Not to like push that? But not yet?
Or spoil it.
Not yet,
All
not
right.
yet. Usually we have the students vote on it, so we'll do that at the start of next year.
I'm wondering if you could do it at the end of this year and then people could submit
Yeah,
over the
jumpstart.
summer. Yeah, so that
It's
would,
a good idea, yeah, have them work on pieces over the summer as
Yeah.
well. I find that the summer is very long for kids, and
Okay.
that does not always work out that way.
Totally.
Yeah.
I would also, during Art Week, when we have, at the end of May, beginning of June, I would have a bunch of copies out there. We have all the other art stuff out there. Make sure you have stuff so the public can flip through it and stuff there.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Great idea.
There must be something you guys can submit this to for like.
Yeah.
Like
There are different opportunities for awards and such. I'm actually going to post one tomorrow. to the class.
Definitely
Go
should.
for it.
It's really, really nice.
There are chances for them to publish outside. We publish, whenever we have pieces that are submitted to the school newsletter as well. So that's been an
I've seen those.
opportunity for kids to get their work out. And this year, for the first time, we're running a writing contest, which is open to all students, not just the Writers Guild. And these students are going to be the judges of it. So starting to boost participation from the whole school that way as well.
Neat. And then you guys learn different skills that way too.
Right, yeah, you know what publishers look for.
That's
you know
right.
what editors look for, which I think is something we haven't really done before. So.
That's good. It's really cool skills. Awesome.
I,
Anything else?
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
go ahead.
Are you going on to college next year? What are you studying?
I'm majoring in nursing, but my minor is creative writing.
All right.
Cool.
Nice.
Okay.
There'll be a nursing scholarship coming out soon.
There you go. All right. Anyone else on the board? Anything else? Okay. Public comment? Any questions from the public?
Oh, we're super proud.
I know. I just want to give you a chance to say that.
I think I got one of the first copies, and first thing I ripped it right open, and Cheyenne has really been a leader. She contributes to the newsletter with her, short stories and poetry, and we wish her the best as she moves on. I'm so happy to hear that you're moving on to creative writing minor. So thank you for being a leader amongst your peers to keep working forward on this project, and we will continue it next year.
All right.
Awesome.
Cool.
And it's a lot of work, Damien, so.
Yeah. Thank you,
I
David.
mean, the kids do most of it. I'm so impressed by just our editors and by our writers and artists. All I do is answer questions, so it's all them.
But this is cool. This is one of the newer clubs at the high school that's taken off, and it's really nice to see it taking off and really taking root and seeing different grade levels. It's not just one grade; it's everybody. So this is awesome.
Thank you.
Great, cool. Thank you so much. All right, so you guys. All right, we can go on to our next stuff. All right, public comment. All right, student representative report. Abby, we got your report in the packet. Go ahead, take it away. Sure.
First, the Galapagos trip is leaving this Thursday, very early.
You are going, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Back around like 4 o'clock.
Yep, I will see you there. So we'll.
Their sports season opened yesterday for baseball, today for track and field, and tomorrow for softball.
Am I reading this correctly? That 49 kids are doing track and field?
Yeah, 49 kids are doing track. A total of 78 athletes total for spring. 15 baseball and 14 softball. And softball is about the same. Baseball is a little bit down, but track and field is up by quite a bit. And everyone's been working overtime with track and field because we are hosting our first ever home event.
That's right.
April 28th. We will be
250 people.
All right.
Arts, students are preparing for a lot of events. We have our Memorial Day parades, final concert, senior recitals, and graduation performances. Hopefully we're playing for graduation again this year.
That was really awesome.
That was, yeah, we have a lot of really
Really
good comments.
Art Club has grand opening. They've contributed for the Enfield Public Library for the grand opening of the Cardboard Reef Floral Project. And that is opening May 4th between 5:30 and 7:30. Silas, Chakowski, August Abbott, and Stark Budson all have their photographs in the public library, Enfield Public Library team room, all the way until the end of April. And a couple students are competing or have been selected for a nationwide arts competition, which is sponsored by the U.S. House of Representatives. And that was August Abbott, Storm Bunsen, and Aubrey Weber, and they'll be representing our school at the Congressional Art Competition from Mackey, the Planter's office in Concord. And there's the district-wide art exhibition, which will be on Thursday, May 20th, followed by the spring concert at 7 p.m. For clubs, we have student council. They've just had another successful quarterly awards happening. That happened today. Our quarter 3 awards were very successful. There was a music performance and a lot of interesting jokes. For SALT, they've continued meeting. NHS has sold their faculty breakfast tickets, and breakfast is going to be on May 28th. And our proceeds, we're having an extra optional $2 donation, which is going to the VIII Foundation, which helps to feed kids in Africa and send them to school. And we had a very successful reading at the elementary schools.
Awesome.
Art Club, their magazine is finally here. It's distributed. Writers Guild, the magazine is also here. For Interact, they've been working on selecting students to assist with Rise Against Hunger. Since Lebanon High School will be hosting it, we can't have all the students help since we need to bus over.
That's a good point.
But we're selecting the most active students.
Good call.
Theater, again, the show is a hit right now. This is like the downtime for theater. They're working on probably planning, figuring out the plays for next year. Origami, still just collecting origami, accumulating it so we can send it out. GI, they placed second and they're headed to global finals. So congratulations to Gretchen, Izzy, Paul, and Tyler.
All right. Cool. Good job.
And Quiz Bowl, the season ended. We had a meeting last week at 7 a.m. every single day.
I know.
MVLA has been trying to become active again in school, and the junior class prom tickets are on sale, and the prom is day night fetch for River Ball in Vermont.
All right.
And we have a little news about CES, which is 4th grade. They had King Arthur Flour come and show them how to make bread. They're doing 35 loaves of bread for their friends in Mascoma Pantry. They also had a staff talent show and raised $1,000 for CES scholarship fund for seniors. And Vince came and brought words of prayer for kindergarten.
That's super cool. They didn't take any kindergartners away, or first graders with birds of pride, and take any.
Does prom have a theme?
I don't think so.
Theme?
It totally does, but I cannot tell you what it is.
I'm blanking on it too. Like I know I've seen.
doing that?
No,
No, they
there's
have
I
one.
feel like there's purple around my office, like, as they get ready for it.
I know I've seen it too, from my kid. I saw something about the theme. I can't think of it either.
I know this problem, I wish I had a problem.
Cool. All right. Any questions for Abby on any of that stuff? So, very active building, very active district with all the kids doing everything, so that's really fun. Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. Next on our agenda, we have finance and facilities. You have our minutes in the packet there. We had a presentation from Johnson Controls. We had a couple guys there representing their company. Dalvin came, and so they explained. You can see in our minutes there. They explained what Johnson Controls, what they do. We worked with Johnson Controls before we did the renovation on the school, and then during this renovation. And so they've done some things to help us find energy efficiency and things like that. They've come back, and you can see this energy report that they brought us. We got them to bring us some copies as well for the full board. You can take a look at what they gave us for an energy report for the last year. See some really cool savings that we've been doing. So, some things have been paying off. You can see where, some buildings are better than others, that sort of stuff. So they gave us, a whole presentation, talked about their programs, about performance contracting, and basically they can come up with some different programs and, projects as big or as little as we like for energy efficiency, and their whole business model, I believe, is to take the savings and then we pay back from the savings that we would have normally spent had we not done the energy efficiency projects and things like that. But like they can do a full solar quote, all that sort of thing. So yeah, but they dove into like all of our fuel deliveries, our electricity use at every building, which buildings are the most efficient, which ones are not. So we talked about that. We all know that the SAU is the least efficient building, so we can take a look at that.
Energy-wise.
Talked about different energy-wise, the heat escaping, and cold air coming in. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you. Oh, foot in my mouth. All right. So yeah. So we basically just talked about, they can come up with different options for solar. What that would look like, but we would have to do an RFP, a request for proposals before we go into anything like that. But I think we would need to know what we would want to do first of all. So that's something that we would have to talk about in the meantime. But that is what they came in. That was a big chunk of what we talked about at the Finance Facilities meeting. It would involve a bond of some sort because we would have to pay up front for a bunch of the stuff. And while we have saved some money in our sustainability fund, the projects that they're talking about would be much bigger. So, yeah, we had a report from Matt and Dan just talking about some of the different things about looking at the regular maintenance updates, talking about the safety grants that we got for IRS and for all the schools and getting those installed. They did talk about some other things we're going to have another energy advisor for the next one to talk net metering solar, and net metering without solar, stuff like that, from just buying solar energy as our energy source. So we'll look into that. We had an updated CIP, so that has been updated in there. We'll have that coming up. Talked about some CES. We're doing a little mini gym renovation at CES. We put that into the CIP, and that would just. We can talk about that more if you like, and the fields at IRS as well.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you know if there's any federal or state incentives at all for renewable energy at this point?
That's what meeting with a lot of the consultants would be.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
like finding those again, but a lot of them have gone away,
Right.
from my understanding. Right.
I know we've done some lighting renovations, and we'll be looking, that seems to come up yearly, like December-ish, so we'll be looking to use some of those funds potentially to do some lighting changes at the Indian River School. But
Oh, yeah.
we keep our eye out for different things that we can possibly look for grant funding or rebates.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but that's what all these solar companies now have to figure out how to manage it and make it so that we still buy from them, So, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, so that was, where was I? We're doing paving at CES this summer. So we'll go to, the bids are gonna come here. Yeah, they need a bed. Fresh Picks, update as of last week, the negative lunch balance was $11,360, with over 6,500 of that at the high school, over 4,000 IRS, and CES just over 500, EVS at 250. Did a little bit, talked a bit about credits for Butler, so we will make sure we tally those. We reviewed a couple policies that need to be reviewed annually. So that was our finance facilities meeting. We had quite a bit of a meeting. Any questions on anything that we talked about? Okay. Good deal. All right, coming up next, Wellness Committee. Who would like to speak to that?
Probably me.
Yeah, probably.
So you will see the minutes in your packet. We have the food pantry update. Lindsay Perica, the social worker, will be looking to get another $3,000 grant from DH. We received that grant this year, used to buy snacks for kids. We really talked a lot about appropriate times for snacks, and the high school does a very, very good job of making sure that it's not interfering with either breakfast or lunch, right? So we're not giving kids Pop-Tarts when they should go make maybe a different choice for second breakfast. You know, we do serve 2 breakfasts for kids that miss the first one or come in a little bit late, or, you know, lunch, you know, also making sure that we're not interfering and giving out a couple of granola bars before lunch. So really looking at that balance. We have a composting update. I did report that Tim had done some composting work in his real job.
My real job, yeah.
And he has offered to help us start to set something up for the Indian River School. So we'll be looking at using Heather Oliver to get a composting program started there. We'll also be looking at to see what CES has doing, you know, has in the process for compost. I know there was a pretty rigorous composting program there when D Acres was in full swing. They would just take buckets and bring us back compost, which is my favorite way to compost.
That is a good way to compost, I gotta say.
They would take the food scraps and do the work and bring us back dirt. So we liked that. So we'll be looking at that. I know that EVS has a pretty robust program going. So, and the high school is reinvigorating theirs. Mal has some other plans for that. So we'll be looking at composting and making sure that, you know, we're doing our part. Food service update, same as what Tim shared you for lunch balances. You know, we really talked about a sort of a drop in the number of meals that kids are seeing, and really looking at providing different times for especially high school kids to potentially be able to go in, right? If you are a senior with privileges and you come in second period, is there an opportunity for you to go in and grab a bag breakfast because you missed the first sitting of breakfast? Looking at making sure that breakfast after the bell is happening at the other schools, so that if kids, you know, are in late or not hungry first thing in the morning, that they're provided with that bag breakfast that they could have at snack time. So a couple of different things in place. Anton's really been on top of that and working to make that happen. We did talk about the slight increase. I think it's 20 cents. Is it 20 cents, Michelle?
I think so.
Yeah.
20 cents. So I think that's
15,
something will
20.
change. Yep. Looking also at offering an option for kids who play sports who might want to grab a bag lunch type thing if they had an away game or something like that. I think, you know, if you have a teenager, that they'll eat before the game on the bus and they'll eat on the way home. So, you know, maybe trying to provide a little bit more for some of our athletes if they so choose.
Would they be able to buy, like, so let's say they bought their regular lunch, would they be able to then buy like another bag lunch?
Yes.
Because that's, I mean, that's an opportunity for a lot of our teams. I know.
Absolutely.
It's cheaper than other options that
It
they've
is,
had.
absolutely. And I know the Boosters Club has often paid for some bag lunches from, you know, EHOP, but this is just yet another option for some of our kids and not putting a lot of burden financially on EHOP. You do see the poster or the information from Danielle Thompson from DH. I believe that has already expired though, but that's okay, she got it to us in time. We did review some of those policies, so if you've been in some of the subcommittees lately, you know that we're going through and some of our policies are bound to a yearly review cycle. So we did start to look at those. Some of the nursing staff wanted to take a few minutes and really review those 3 policies. So those will be coming back to us at the next wellness committee meeting.
Okay. Any questions for Amanda on that? I just want to clarify on the composting. Yeah, next time we have a grant available, I will be working with Heather to partner because it's actually the Upper Valley Super Compost Project. And they have, I think, 5 or 6 locations, mostly on the Vermont side, like at Sharon Elementary School. That's the one we went to. And like the kids own the whole process and they like dump all the stuff, they weigh it and they scoop it over. It's great. So yeah, it was really cool. But there's a whole program set up and they come to schools and work with schools and do everything. So
Can we like try to do it at CES as well? Is that like an option or?
yeah, like, yeah, so, yeah, that's what we were trying to, like, get them to work with. They're trying to grow slowly, you know, and to, like, add more schools. I think they're going into Hanover schools this spring.
When I was in elementary school, we had, I don't remember if it was like 4th grade, but we were in charge of composting. So we had to go to all the classrooms, collect it, carry the buckets down to the compost bins, and and turn it. And I don't remember it being a drag. I just remember having fun with it. So I
Yeah.
think like little kids are like excited to like have this extra chore and responsibility. And
The kids we talked to.
what is it?
Always having to get about our chair.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
The kids that we talked to were like super, they were like the leaders of it for their
Yeah,
school, like they
absolutely.
loved it, so, yeah. Cool, all right. Up next, EIC committee. Diane, I'll let you do that one.
Well, Tina told us about the MIAS. She'd already shared it here at a board meeting earlier, and we saw a letter that was written that gave great praise to, the high school and the process and what they were doing. So that continues, and, that's really impressive for somebody who's been through it before. Kudos, kudos, kudos. Then we reviewed the handbooks and the student handbook and athletic handbooks, and we have all the principals here today that are going to do that with us as a whole, so I won't, step on their toes, and I'll let them give the highlights. And then we reviewed some policies, and then Tim asked about the possibility about adding a component into our health class or another class anyways about gambling addiction, since it is becoming quite prevalent, severe, inaccessible, among teens and adults. So that's something that we'll hopefully be able to include.
Cool. Yeah, just like let's put a pin in this and talk about this at some point. Probably good for broader board discussion too. So, any questions for Diane on this? Okay. All right. Amanda, up next.
You do have my written report in your packet. You will see, there we are, Martha, Ryan, myself. We were at the Plymouth State University Job Fair. There we are. We, by far, have the best booth. I just want everybody to know that.
It looks good.
High standards. Martha has set the standards pretty high. We have the best booth. We give out the best swag. That's a fact. I was told by some of the kids. So it was very nice to be able to go in there and to talk to all these young graduates or soon-to-be graduates that will be coming out with their education degrees. A lot of social studies candidates, a lot of elementary ed candidates. I believe that Ryan will be interviewing 3 or 4 of them for the positions that are open at CES next year. So that's very exciting. We talked to some PE and health certifications too. So it's just really nice to see education, public education, sort of coming through a renaissance or a rebirth and just starting to become popular in a desired profession again. Very good to see. So we have a lot of hope with the future for public education. We still do have some job openings. This is the time of year where things sort of teeter a little bit, and potentially we lose teachers to other districts that are closer to their home or, for some other reason. So we will have the job board will continue to move. Our administrators are doing an excellent job of interviewing, finding the best candidates. I will say that this has probably been the best pool that we've seen in years. You're seeing, poor Ryan said to me, he's like, Amanda, I have like 10 applicants for a position. And I said, yeah, that's how it used to be.
That's great.
It's a good problem to have.
That's awesome.
Good problem.
So, we're doing a very good job with that. Finding a really good fit is what I've, asked people to do, is to find a good fit for their schools. And once again, Galapagos off on Wednesday. Thursday, that's good.
It's the 16th.
Reese would be in trouble if I was trying to get in here at 4 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Yeah, likewise. I want to make sure it's Thursday.
It says Wednesday on the other
Something
one.
that you don't want to miss.
Oh, she-
I'm
Yeah.
envious. I want to go.
I did write Wednesday, it's Thursday. Whoa,
That's why I was like, I want to make sure it's
4 weeks.
Thursday. I don't need my
Wednesday
kid.
is drop off.
That's the luggage.
Luggage is Wednesday is drop off. That's right. That's right.
Okay, poor Reese, he could have been here the whole day.
Better early than late.
Missed the bus.
Let him show up Friday. All right. Any questions for Amanda on that? Okay. Business Administrator's update. We have your written report in the packet. Michelle, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, you've got a lot of stuff in your packet tonight from me. I've got some informational pieces in there. You've got the CIP, which we'll approve later, paving, approve later. I've got a copy of the capital reserve report, so you can see the balances in that. What else do I have in there? The tax rate spreadsheet, which gives you all the amounts we've sent back to towns over the years. So that's something we'll be working on at the end of the year, so we can sort it back. And then you've got your financials for March.
All right. Great. Any questions for Michelle?
Yes. How much, do you know exactly, close how much money is going back to the 5 towns?
I do not.
You do not?
So
So
yeah, it's, yeah.
that's,
Once we close,
that's,
May
that's
1st, we're gonna close off purchasing and I'll have a better idea middle of May.
May 1st?
That's when we close purchasing. So after we stop buying things, then I'll have a better idea where we'll be, yeah.
No,
But yeah.
I was going to ask that
It'll be in
question.
the next month or so, yeah.
Cool. All right. Anything else for Michelle? Okay. Bus routes update. Anything to update on Butlers?
We do not have any updates right now. We will be meeting with Andy, who is the new Steve. So
Oh, good.
Andy was the dispatcher there. He has taken over Steve Landry's role, and we'll be meeting with him, I believe, on the 28th.
All right. Excellent.
The one thing that I would say about bus routes is, and if I remember correctly last year, Butlers created bus routes based on the ideals of what the district would have versus what they had for drivers, because we had to close that route, I believe. I would just ask that Butlers create basically on the drivers that they have rather than what is the ideal. So that we have a realistic picture here that we can give parents, that we don't have to close a bus route like 3 days into the school year and having us being jumping for it. So that would be the one request that I would have.
Sure,
When
I
you do
can
meet with
convey
them,
that, Joe.
to state that.
Yep.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, like, we won't do the bus because it would be 3 hours every day.
Right.
So it's like
Right.
unrealistic for like my little kids to do that, and that's the same for a lot of families. So as much as I agree with what you're saying, is like, let's be realistic, it's also like, let's also be ideal, because, I mean, these little kids should not be on the bus for that long.
Oh, I agree.
I think that, I mean, that's a good point, because I think what we can do is, like, if they can give us at the beginning of the year what they realistically have for drivers, because they're contracted to provide us X number of routes too.
Right.
So like, there's a contracted amount, but then there's a realistic amount.
Right.
So like, if we can start the year with the realistic amount, and then we can, yeah, that'd be great.
People can plan for that, and then if there's a happy surprise and we
Right.
actually end up with
We like happy
the right amount of bus drivers, then that's a better pivot than now you're 3 days before the school year starts and you're trying to figure out how you're getting them to school, so like.
Right. Yeah, you can't hire on a wing and a prayer, but you're like, yeah, we'll find somebody, but, all right. Anything else on buses?
Nope.
Okay. All right, up next, new business. Jack and Dorothy Byrne Foundation grant for $60,000 for the Sports Enhancement Program. I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to accept that 6,000 with both the birds.
Okay, second?
Second.
All right, any further discussion from the board? It's good to hear that the kids do well with Coach Joe, and it sounds like it's working. So many thanks to the Jack and Dorothy Byrne Foundation for helping us continue this.
Very generous.
Yes. All right. All those in favor of accepting the donation signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Abstentions. All right. Up next, we have another donation. This was the Cardigan Mountain Art Association. There's a donation for $4,909.73 to the art department.
Make a motion to accept that.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay.
It's a very specific amount.
It is, because they have been administratively dissolved, and so they voted to donate the balance of their checking account to the art department here in the district.
Oh, that's kind of them.
This is very nice of them. Do you have any plans or anything, or they're just going to use it to offset like purchasing, or?
Well, it's for the district, so I hope the district can utilize all of those funds. And this is the first I'm reading it, so I'm sure we'll find places to use that money.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Anything else?
We'll buy a Passat, Josh, you can't buy one of those. Cash only, you won't be able to.
Versace bag.
Cash only, yeah, whatever.
Okay, all those in favor of accepting the donation of $4,909.73 to the art department at the regional district, at the district level, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Abstentions?
Serious, it's the whole meeting.
All right. Up next, we have the French Club asking for permission to begin fundraising, and this is looking for permission to fundraise, not permission for the trip, correct?
Right, I gotta get more details.
Yeah, but permission to start fundraising is the first step in any time they want to do a big trip, especially internationally like this. So you see in your packet here, there's a letter from Tina talking about a trip to go to Quebec City and Montreal. Did you want to expound on that at all, since I have you here, or? En français.
So this is sort of Alice Lee, she's our French teacher, and this has been sort of in the works for a while. We've had multiple conversations over the years, and now it's sort of an opportunity to come to fruition. It's an off year of the Spanish trip. We also are working on the Washington DC trip, which will be in the fall. So this will be on its own. Probably the band will be traveling again in the spring, but it would be an opposite time of that. So this is just sort of the conversation about it. We are discussing that maybe it become a art learning trip as well, a fine arts trip. So it would be more than just our French students, but open it up to the arts. So we're in preliminary talks with multiple agencies to really find the trip that works best for us, which has been sort of an interesting process, but that's sort of what we're looking at right now. So we just want to have those conversations and be able to start the fundraise.
Cool. All right, any questions for Tina?
When was the last time there was a French trip? Because I feel like when I was in high school, we actually went to France.
Not in my time here, so I
Long
think
time
it's
ago.
The last scheduled was in 2020.
You're right, you're right.
They
That's-
did.
yeah.
Yeah, it was supposed to go to Paris.
That's right, that's right.
And I think the Galapagos trip was also like 2021. No,
Yeah, 21.
Yeah, everybody talking.
Yeah, definitely. Well, this is
very cool.
This is good. I'm glad to get this back on track. We're trying, hoping for this sort of thing. Yeah, 10 students and stuff like that. Is my only question? I mean, you can explore this further. I worry that 3 days, 2 nights is not going to be enough time. But
many schools do it that
Okay,
way.
good.
Yeah, that's a pretty standard trip, like
Okay.
many like middle school programs
Yeah.
go and things like that. So,
Yeah,
you know,
it's like
just,
4 hours.
we know that the longer we go for, the more cost it is.
that's true.
Yeah.
We,
And it is,
we want to make sure it's affordable.
like you said, it's only 4 hours drive, so it's not
Right,
that
so
far.
you can kind of have like almost 4 days,
Yeah.
because you can be there, and then you have the 2 nights, and then you can stay there.
I mean, Alice has a preference of one city total, but most of the trip companies want to. So,
Quebec City is very different. It is really cool. So,
but they are very different. Also.
yeah, very European. All right, cool. Seeing no other questions, entertain a motion from the board to approve the permission to fundraise. Okay, do you have a second?
I'll second.
All right, any further discussion for the board? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Abstentions? All right. Oh, well. Next on our agenda is the CES and EVS handbooks. This is the approval for those. Yeah, come on up. We did talk in finance facilities, some of the changes, but if you would like to, I don't know if you want to highlight a few changes, just
the changes.
yeah, just the change, yeah.
Every year we have staff names on positions on the calendar has to be updated, so that's no different. We've had an influx of discussions and challenges with children bringing toys from home that have become a problem, including basketballs, footballs, baseball gloves, etc., where they sort of lord them over other kids on the playground, so we are no longer going to permit that. We will provide a number of things, and I'm going to go wiffle balls instead of baseballs or softballs, and so they don't need gloves for that, so it shouldn't be an issue. So the changes are just, they're not going to be allowed to bring them, and then if the teachers decide to have kids bring things in, those things will stay in the classroom, they will not be on the playground, so again, they don't become damaged or lost or become a problem on the playground. The next change would be for the student dress code, and that's just the district-wide. We're not going to be stressing about caps or hats anymore, so I think that's great. The early release, delayed opening part for the preschool, it does not matter how many places I put this. It's inevitable on a delayed opening. Somebody shows up with their 3-year-old or their 4-year-old for preschool in the morning when we don't have that. So I just am going to add that section into the preschool section of the handbook. And then also for preschoolers, For the first time, we had a number of students show up with slippers as their inside shoe options. If we have an evacuation in there and slippers, their feet are going to get wet and very, very cold. And so we've just asked that we don't do slippers as their inside shoes if they have sneakers or some other shoe that if they have to go outside won't make them cold immediately. And then we just got basic policies.
Cool. All right, any questions from?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, why the playground equipment, why did you bring that in, the athletic balls and gloves and bats and stuff like that? I'm not looking at electronic devices, but I'm looking at, the kids want to bring their own glove and stuff, why can't they, what's the issue with that?
Because it's becoming a problem. So if a student brings in their football, then they try and dictate who's allowed to play. Whereas if I have a bin full of footballs or soccer balls, basketballs, etc., that are owned by the school, then it's everybody who wants to play plays, and we don't have the fighting that happens. And we just want to prevent that because we are all inclusive on the playground and we want everybody to play. So if I own it, then they have to follow my rules.
So if you, well, no,
I mean, I understand. I was an athlete. I used to bring my softball glove to school all the time. I get it.
I'm trying to encourage the kids to do stuff.
Some
I'm
more
trying
questions, some more
to encourage the kids, to do extra stuff. And, you know, they play kickball or whatever and anything else out there. If you need athletic gloves, balls and stuff. I got plenty of people I can get.
I'd be happy to take donations. I just
get donations to. I just thought there's got to be some. I needed to hear that. Needed to be some reason why.
Yeah.
You're having a big issue and having a fight over stuff out there in the playground, which.
Or kids feel left out because somebody's leaving them out or saying, "I brought this from home, so you can't touch it." Like, it's just
that's
not
happening.
that community that we are trying to build at EVS. And so
Okay,
I have all of those things, and they can use them, and they still play all of those games. So we have them. It's all there.
So I'm not questioning which is your playground. I'm not trying to micromanage you on this, but the playground supervisors go out, and years ago I was concerned about your school with that playground trapeze thing they got out there on the left-hand side there, that jungle, you know what I'm talking about?
Monkey bars?
Huh?
The monkey bars?
Oh yeah, the monkey bars.
We have rules about that too.
What's that?
We have rules about that too.
Well,
Like you
I'm
can't
concerned
sit on
about
it.
the kids getting hurt out there doing.
Tell me about it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, but if you need, you know.
I would be
Well, I don't know,
happy
if
to accept
we're gonna go to
donations.
Enfield, and they got the playground situation, I haven't even looked at theirs, but they got the same issue. Me, I'm more or less, would like to see you get a list of what you need, all right? You get a list of stuff you need for the kids, for out there for playground, all right? And get it to whoever, get it to Amanda, and then she can get it to me or whatever, and we'll go from there.
I love it.
Because I got so much stuff that I got given to me, gloves, balls, soccer balls,
All right.
everything. I mean,
We'd be happy to take
I
it.
could, but I'm not gonna help the athletic department in the high school. 'Cause they got the money.
I'd be happy to. I will create a list of good
But
things.
the thing is, if you're, I don't wanna expound on this any more than you already got going on, but your playground, because I used to stop and see the kids during recess once at a time. They used to stop and see Mrs. Landry and your other principal, and it always seemed fine with me. I didn't mind seeing the kids out playing basketball outside too.
Yeah.
So that's their free time.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I was a kid now. I couldn't stand sitting in a classroom for 6 hours. Never mind whatever they're doing. So you get a list together,
Okay.
and we'll work on it.
So if anything, there'll be more things for kids to play with
Which is
on the
great.
playground, which is
Yeah.
great. So that's awesome. Cool. Any other questions for Jamie? Megan, did you want to share yours as well? It's pretty much the same
Yes, I was
stuff.
just gonna say, mine is,
Specific item.
we try to make.
Yeah, you have to have something very specific.
And
Yeah, something very
I
specific.
totally agree with Jamie and the whole playground thing, we experience the same things.
Yeah.
But we have a whole shed full of stuff that they can choose from, so I'm getting basketball hoops shortly, so the
That's
kids
right.
are super excited about that.
Okay.
Yeah, and we made 2 rocks on the hill have come down, so that there's 2 on top that
Yeah.
were a little bit, so they've come down. And
Oh, good. Safer.
yeah,
We're taken down.
taken
Yeah,
down.
yeah, you
It's
got
not
them
come down as if they on their own.
Yeah, not like we got so much rain or, yeah.
And,
Cool, yeah, so your
Yeah.
changes are mostly the same.
Yeah,
you had something to
yeah.
say, I know.
I would say the only thing that we did is our CES way. We have kind of a mantra that we say all the time, and so I've just changed that page to be our CES way that we say every morning, so. Other than that.
You also have one more thing that you specifically listed, kids can't bring.
Oh, yeah, the Pokemon cards.
Yes, 'cause that's an issue for you.
It's a huge issue for us, and just kids, taking other kids' stuff, and, it just, no.
It's good to have to just spell it
Yeah.
out, you just have to spell it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Laura.
How are you gonna present this to the students? I feel like if you guys are very clear about this, this could happen, but
That sounds like Ryan's
I
problem.
feel like on the bus, they're like, gave this to me, or like, and now
next
there's
year's
like all
handbook.
this like thieving happening and stuff, and it's like, how are you gonna make this happen?
It has happened,
Okay.
and we have dealt with it on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
It's less and less, it's getting less
Yeah,
and less as time goes on. It really is. I don't think I've done any this year.
Good.
I think I did maybe 1 last year, and it was a matter of he gave it to me, and we just swapped it back, you put it in your bag, and I don't want to see it again.
There you
And
go.
You'd suspend them, huh?
No.
Well,
All right.
yeah,
Any other questions for Megan on that?
whatever.
All right. Entertain a motion from the board to approve the CES and EVS handbooks with the changes as presented.
I'll make a motion to accept CES and EBS handbooks as written.
Okay? And Diane, any second? All right. Any other discussion from the board on those handbooks? All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions. All right. Up next, IRS. And yes, thank you very much. Thank you. IRS and the high school.
Mom, you go. I know.
Thank you. All right, Tina, you got the high school, so which one do you want to do first? The student one?
Yeah, I'll do
Okay.
the student one and then I'll go back to the athletic.
Okay.
So for our student handbook, obviously the cover page, we updated Mr. Flint, Dean of Students, the calendar, the course loads from 6 to 3, which is based on the district policy that's been updated based on the 306s. I went through the library section and really felt it was important to review that and make sure sometimes things get missed, like alignment with policy, so I pulled policy right over for that. Page 12 and 13, technology, that's new for our handbooks, and that's right from the SAU, really looking at, what it looks like to be very clear with parents of charging for damages. Then on page 15, really getting more explicit with consequences related to tardies. We have it in our handbook, if they're tardy, what it looks like to be tardy, we send letters home, but really being very clear with students, it's really important to be on time, and you will have lunch attentions. And lunch attentions really hurt students, because that's their social hour of the day. So really being very explicit with both parties to school and parties to class. Dress code, really reflecting again, when it's approved by the board, the complete new one, then we will update that, but pending that. And then just being clear with consequences. And then really looking at behavior. It's sort of, we rearranged the being more explicit and clear with level 1 and level 2 offenses. And I left my other page over there. Or I don't have it.
Bus
Buses, just buses.
Buses.
Oh, buses. So yeah. So when we deal with bus issues, I want to make sure that we are very clear with students and parents. They don't, although it's in here, them making sure that, this is the 5 days. Like, we are not playing. We tend to deal with stuff at the beginning of the school year. It's really nice to be able to just pull that one page out, give it to the parents. But being very clear and explicit with the students and the parents right up front of the school year. This is the consequence. We really only have a few issues at the start of the school year. And once they go right to school, things sort of change. So and later on, we have a few issues because it's springtime, but often a lot of students are driving by then. This is sort of that natural progression. So those are the ones for our handbook. student handbook, and then related to athletics. So in the athletics handbook, if a student's able, we really wanted to focus on giving opportunities for students to, if you have a bad third quarter, and baseball season starts, what happens is then student doesn't get to play because they've missed tryouts. So giving students the opportunity, we know if students are involved in school and involved in sports, they're staying out of trouble, they're keeping their grades up. It's really important, we want to keep students involved and not penalize them for maybe a rough third quarter. Oftentimes kids have stuff just outside, it's a tough time of year. So really giving them that opportunity they can't just walk on the field, they have to make up what they missed by giving students an opportunity to play. So for the coaches handbook, coaches can establish the rules beyond what's outlined in the handbook with my involvement. So there are certain things that, a coach may want to add, maybe something that the student needs or something, expectation for a student. Coaches don't know grades or anything like that. That's not information we give out, but sometimes the coach may want to just establish an additional rule, and they have to run that past Steve and I. So it's just giving them an opportunity and making it clear for coaches they have to discuss that with us. They just can't add things. And then district approved modes of communication. This has been a standard practice for coaches to use sports. You never directly message a child or captains message a coach. So now it's very explicit, like this is the expectation, sort of with coaches. It's been the ongoing expectation, but it's really important that we are very clear with them. This is the way it is. So, yeah.
Cool. All right, any questions for Tina on any of those, the student handbook or the athletic and coaches handbook?
Yeah.
Yes.
The eligibility, the top one.
For the athletics, yeah, page 10, eligibility.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? That's the one I was very adamant about getting in place, make sure that there's a policy in there in place that stays there.
That's right.
Because it got changed a number of years ago, which I wasn't happy about, because it's not a fair.
Right.
You're penalizing the student. It's not a fair thing to the kids because of who they play against from other schools, just so you know that.
Well, it was more for, and I respect that, but also we want to keep our kids involved,
I agree to that. My thing wasn't nothing to do with the wins and losses and go against other teams, but if you're playing on the same playing field, you're playing on the same playing field, and if they're not playing, they're not practicing, they're going off doing something else.
Right.
Yep.
So this thing got changed, and there is one I want you to try to get through, which I've mentioned to Amanda a number of times, and that's part of the athletics thing, is there's no reason why, and it's in our policy there, we gotta revisit that policy, is kids playing two-team sports where two soccer players could play on the football team if they wanted to just be the field goal kicker and the punter. Vice versa with some of the the girls' teams, same way. They could play field hockey, possibly maybe play soccer or whatever, or volleyball. There's enough. We don't have that many athletes here, and it's going to be an issue coming up down the road when we're going to be in trouble with numbers. I don't like the numbers I just saw for the spring sports, other than
baseball
and softball is not good.
No, but our track is amazing.
No, I understand that. We go through up and
We do,
valleys,
we go
right?
through cycles, absolutely.
Yes, and we go up and down. It's like the stock market. Not that bad, but it's gotten to be. But
and Amanda has shared that. She did contact us about the two-team sports, and we shared. Mr. Stebbins and I shared our thoughts with Amanda related to that. So an individual, they can do an individual and a team at the same time.
Yeah, we have kids do like cross country and like a team sport, or bass fishing and a team sport.
It's not a team sport.
Are they trying to communicate from the other side?
Right. A lot of static electricity.
We're here.
Sounds like a
It's
cell
not
phone
me,
call.
Stebbins. I'm just pulsing with rhythm.
That's right.
All right.
Energy.
All right.
I just wanted to bring it back
Yeah,
up.
no, and
Thank
Amanda
you.
definitely already reached out to us about, addressing that, so we kind of spoke to her about that, but definitely for right now, we are starting season, we can revisit it later, but it's individual right now and team, and, we see Georgia do things, and, we have a lot of kids who will play basketball and then do indoor track.
Right.
Some road rollers, so.
You're looking at next year for stuff on this handbook, and then
Yeah.
and the policy is, I'm I'm bringing it out to your attention again, the policy needs to get back to us if you get a chance to change that, because I'm not in agreement with what the previous athletic director did. All right?
Yep, and Steve heard you on this one, so
Yep.
related to 2.0, so that's why we addressed that, like, we
All right.
understand that, I want him to play.
I just
We'll visit with Amanda and have those conversations with
Yeah.
the board. and then-
I'm just bringing it back up again, because sometimes goes away.
All right, anything else for Tina?
Yeah, I know.
I was just wondering on
Yeah.
that, are there any NHIAA rules about playing two sports at the
No.
same time?
No.
So-
Team sports.
Team sports?
So I know that right now we can do the individual and the team. I know that there would be potential conflicts among coaches and things of that nature. We'd have to explore it, like, and that's one of the things with NHIAA guidance. I don't have the answer to that right now, Dan, and I don't want to speak on it. I know how we had a conversation about it, so we can revisit that again.
All right. Any other questions for Tina about the handbook? Handbooks. All right, cool. All right, IRS. Come on down. Want to do the student one first?
Sure.
All right.
So the student one has way more changes because I'm new.
That's right.
I went through it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So really big changes in formatting. I hate Times New Roman, so if I had Arial, it's just easier to read, so we did that. We updated the header. Updated the header to reflect the document. Cool, thanks. I'll talk loud.
Yeah.
So I updated that header just so that the IRS logo is there, it's branded out, and you can always tell what document you're reading. And then pages 10 through 14 reformatted with information from old handbook pages. So that actually is included in the rest of this. So if you go through page 1, there was a principal letter there, and then I just changed it to an introduction to the handbook instead. That's something that will be lasting. I don't have to rewrite that letter every year, and I do actually write a letter every summer, so that letter will still go out. It just won't be in the handbook. This is just, we are looking for, your feedback and that kind of a thing. There's format changes on page 3, and really looked at we removed the district vision statement and just left the IRS vision and mission statements to be clear that this is our building and these are the things that we are looking at. I did add in the portrait of the graduate as well and how we use that at IRS. On page 4, I updated the school information and then the school personnel. We added the daily schedule for next year. The arrival, on page 11, arrival and dismissal was updated to reflect current practices. Page 12, attendance was updated to reflect current practices and district policy. And then on page 12, I also added a new section to the handbook, which is called bicycles, skateboards, rollerblades, etc. And that section really goes through different alternate modes of transportation. We've had students showing up with bicycles. There wasn't anything in there about bicycles, so I added that section, which basically just talks about the liability. If you park your bike here and it gets stolen, that's not our deal. You have to lock your bike. And then also, if you have rollerblades, they have to go into your locker. They can't just be rollerblading through the hall. I know, sad, but also true.
It's a rough life.
And Heelys are making a comeback, so I don't
No.
know. We'll have to deal with that when it comes back.
Those sneakers with
They
wheels
sneakers
inside
out.
of them.
Yeah, they have wheels in them. So like you have a sneaker and you can pop out the wheel.
Are you gonna get one? That's the big
I
question.
mean, I love them, so we'll see what happens there. I don't know.
Until you're the roller skating principal, like.
Yeah, I know. And are you really even a middle school principal if you don't roll around? I'm not sure. So page 14, the snacks section was changed to reflect the wellness policy. On page 15, I added a new section which outlines what staff will do to support student relationships, and that section is called Addressing Student Concerns. So that's more about when there's an argument, what we will do and what we will not do. It kind of speaks to homeroom changes, those kinds of things that are based on relationships. We will support students. What we will not do is actively keep kids apart except for extenuating circumstances. So for instance, if there's a bullying situation or we're really looking at a structured support plan for students, then we will work out how we can handle those situations separately. But for the most part, we're not going to do my kid can't play with this kid. That becomes really hard to manage for our students, and we are actively working with kids to try and figure out how they can resolve their differences. So in an upcoming section, I think it's in the recess guidelines and expectations, we actually have a system in there that's called rock, paper, scissors, rock,
walk, or talk.
Yeah.
That's what you said. That's
sorry. And so that is more about like how do you resolve those differences when you really are coming to a disagreement. Well, we can rock, talk, and walk. So we play Rochambeau, and then out we go. Like, go if you won. All right, fine. And they like to do that for another one. And then the recess is over. So that's.
And then they figure out what they're fighting about, right?
So that works. So again, we've updated the recess expectations and guidelines. On page 16, we updated the indoor recess guidelines. There had been a whole section about going into the gym, which we are not doing. We're doing that in the classrooms. On page 16, the visitors and volunteer section, that was removed from that place. We mentioned it, and then I actually moved it to a further section, just because in the structure it didn't quite fit in the day. On page 18, there was a section about lunch that was called nuisance items. So I just changed that to lunch expectations, and that's about fiddling with toys during lunch. On page 18, I added a new section that has a lot of the old section pieces in it. So this section is called School Climate and Culture. It's reformatted to include IRS behavioral expectations, consequences, and interventions, and the student violence protection piece is also in that section. On pages 23 and 24, we have our bus safety information reformatted and updated. Pages 24 through 28 is a new section called Curriculum and Academics, and includes all of the same information that was in the old handbook. It's just in a different place, and it's reflected, it just makes more sense in that spot. Really easy to find all the information that is in that different place. Page 26, we updated our homework section in that new section to update to reflect current practices, and we also updated student achievement to reflect student current practices. On page 27, we updated the report card and parent-teacher conferences with the dates that we currently have. There are some dates that are not in there right at this minute because we actually set them at the beginning of the school year. On page 28, I added a new section called Supporting Student Learning, which includes information about Title I interventions and special education related services. So you can read about what we have. On page 29, I added a new section called School Programs and Activities, and that's just renamed and reformatted from other sections of the old handbook. On page 33, I added a new section called Parent Procedures and Community Involvement. That's where the volunteer information has gone, volunteer and visitors. And then on page 34, another new section called Notifications. These notifications are just basic information that is meant to be in every school handbook. Because we have a handbook that goes into the planner, that first part can only be like 40 pages. And so when we take the appendix that has all of the policies, the student policies in it, that doesn't fit in there. So I add the notifications is just like a pared down version of that. In that version, or in that section, in the notification section, there is a section called Internet and School Technology, and in that section, we added the same language that Tina added in her handbook regarding Chromebooks and the cost for replacement, just to be upfront with families about the damages and that kind of thing, and that they would be expected to pay those damages, and that it can cost anywhere between $25 and $80 for some parts, and then the full replacement cost of $450. So that's all the changes.
Cool.
It's just the whole thing.
Thank you for that overhaul. It's a huge overhaul.
Huge overhaul.
Yeah, it was a long time coming. So, any questions?
Yeah,
on that?
does the 8th graders get a credit going to the high school when they, after they get done reading all this?
I don't know.
Good question.
You have to get a half a credit or something
Right,
before
right.
they go to high school.
Anything else on the student handbook?
My God.
No, this is very thorough. This is very local. Thank you just so much on that.
Whatever.
Athletics, I guess, and so you got the changes listed there as well.
Yep, so this one, if you look at this, you can see the first piece is, there's changes in the attendance and expectations of athletes. And so if you scroll down or you look down at your page, you can see there's some strike throughs. We took out the 3 absences will result in dismissal from the team. Basically, we need to keep our numbers up. And sometimes that's hard to do. So there's that. And then the last line in that section spoke about behavioral infractions, and we went from 2 behavioral infractions to just 1 behavioral infraction, and students would not be able to participate in the next game. So there's that, and then the next section, building utilization, we took out athletes are not to bring food or beverages into the building, and also students may not use the soda machine at the school because we don't have one, so we don't need that.
No, not necessary.
And then the last piece, we changed our eligibility academic requirements to mirror those at the high school because students coming from the middle school should have a general understanding of what it means to play sports at the high school, and so we really wanted to kind of just mimic. So we went from that 70% to the 2.0 GPA, and that's really the biggest change there. Then on page 16, we added the full substance abuse policy that mimics the high school's policy. So you have that whole piece listed there. And yeah, those are the changes. That's it.
Yep. That's that. Any questions? Anything else? Any questions from anybody on the athletic one? Or anything at all? All right. Yeah, I can imagine if like one major behavioral infraction would just take once a season. And they'll be like, oh no, I lost my game. As opposed to this, you can just do something every week. Yep. Yep. All right. Cool. All right, and if that's all the review of all the IRS and high school athletic and student handbooks, I'll entertain a motion to approve all that.
I'll move to approve the IRS and the RHS handbooks.
Okay. All right, do a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any further discussion on any of those student or athletics or coaches handbooks? Okay. All those in favor of approving the IRS and MVRSD student athletic handbooks signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Abstentions. All right. Up next is the fun stuff of general assurances. You need you need a motion on this one? I mean, you need a vote on this? General assurances?
Yes.
Yes.
Is there anything of note? I know last year there were changes involved. I'm wondering if those changes are still sticking from last year.
Say that again, Joe?
I said last year there were some things that legal counsel was looking at. We held off on a vote for this. I'm just curious if there was anything that should be of note this year.
No, there is nothing. I do recall what you're talking about, and we do not have any updates.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
Like that.
Thank you for that reminder. Yes. All right, as you can see, the general assurances are there in your packet. I'll make a motion that we approve the general assurances for FY '27.
Second.
All right, Don seconds. Any discussion on that from anybody? Fun housekeeping stuff. Yeah? Spring housekeeping, that's right. All right, all those in favor of approving the general assurances signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Abstentions. All right, up next, we got CES paving bids. So you can see here, we have bids from 3 different companies. Twin State Paving has 2 different bids, and the reason why, so Matt explained this at our finance facility. Oh, there's Matt. I looked up and you were hiding. All right, you want to come explain the difference? You told us in finance facilities. What you were saying made a lot of sense.
So I reached out to 3 companies. We got bids from 2 different companies. There's a bid from Twin State and from Blacktop.
Yep.
Those 2 bids came in. They would come in, grind 1 inch, and repave. Basically, just do a top coat over everything. Twin State did not like that. They recommended against it, but they put a bid in because that's what we asked for. Their secondary bid is to come in, do a 3-inch grind, do prep work on all the holes, do a sub base, and then do a final top coat. I recommend that that's what we go with. Their bid still came in lower than what Blacktop's was for a 1-inch grind and a top coat.
Yeah.
So.
And what did we budget for this in the CIP?
We originally budgeted 180.
Yeah, that's right.
So, yes.
Yeah, that's great. That's cool.
And
All right,
what-
yeah, questions for Matt?
Oh, sorry. What were they thinking for how long it might last?
She said as long as we keep on top of it, at least 10 years before we start seeing anything crazy, unless we had some of the worst frost heaves this year that destroyed way more pavement than I was expecting, so we have some issues that we have to deal with now pretty much everywhere. But those are kind of unforeseen things happening because of the extreme cold we had. It was crazy. I had doors that couldn't open which would never happen. So,
do you know the last time we paved CES? It's been at least 10 years, probably.
Before my time.
Before your
and
time.
I've been here over 10 years.
Yeah, I don't remember being paved.
So,
we patched up stuff at CES.
Yeah, we patched up.
We did patch up, but I'll make a motion, we go with Twin State Paving for the 3 to 4 inch.
All right.
But the thing is, the discussion.
You have another
because-
question?
I do.
Yeah, well.
Go ahead and second it, and then we'll discuss
So,
it. I'll second it, and then we'll discuss. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
so when people pick up, they, all the parents go into 2 lines.
yes.
And so, half of the parents are going on the dirt / mud with also with huge holes on it.
Yeah.
And is that gonna be included in the new paving? Are they gonna make 2 lines?
We're going a little bit wider than what's there currently. I know
Okay.
that.
So it won't be 2 lines?
It won't be 2 full lines, but you'll be able to fit 2 cars through, and we're lining everything with hard pack along the edges when they backfill everything.
Once it's done, there should be ability for 2 lines, maybe not exactly in the same spot. But there'll still be a blank space kind of there where that portable classroom used to be, right?
Yeah.
I mentioned to Matt during the finance facility meeting that Blacktop did it around my common where I live last fall, all right? And we got cracks already now. They didn't grind nothing, they just went over the top. So they didn't grind it down.
Just put a cap on it.
It's so
What?
bad right now. It just needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
So, but in the past, we've been patching, because I know for the past years before Matt was the facility guy, I know we've gone into CES and patched out.
We used
areas.
25 bags of cold patch last year.
Just for little potholes.
Just to fill little potholes and stuff, and those all went away when we plowed.
Yeah.
It's just
Found their ways into piles.
Any other questions for Matt?
What's the timeline on this? Would it happen over the summer?
It would happen over the summer. yes.
Nice.
Well,
All right. Any other questions for Matt? Okay, we have a motion on the floor to award the bid to Twin State Paving for the 3 to 4 inch depth at the cost of $147,850. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, abstentions. All right, goes to Twin State. Thank you, Matt. All right, up next is Facilities Capital Reserve transfer request of $74,695 for the digital sign replacement out here. I'll entertain a motion if someone would like to move that.
I'll make a motion to discuss.
Transfer?
Transfer, $74,695 from the capital reserve fund.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on that? Any discussion? Looks nice. Sign looks nice. Looks good.
Came in a little over budget, but not much, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
It was a little lower, I think, than what we had originally.
There was new electrical that we needed to do.
Oh, yeah, we had to do electrical work.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's ready for the future. All right, seeing no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, abstentions. All right, up next, capital improvement plan, the CIP. You have that there in your packet. I'll entertain a motion to approve that as updated. Okay. Anyone second?
Yes.
Diane seconds. All right. So this is just an updated CIP. As you can see, it's broken down. It's organized a little differently into like roofs and then building specific projects, like IRS specific project, high school specific project. And then there's a section for boiler replacements, section for paving projects, district-wide, and then specific CES projects, EVS projects, lighting, air exchange. So it's broken down by type, which is handy to look at too. So in case you're trying to figure out how we're organizing things, it's a nice way to look at it. Any questions on that? All right. All those in favor of the updated CIP signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Abstentions. All right. Up next, we have...
Not in my packet.
Yeah, the teacher appreciation request for $1,500.
I'll make a motion, you can go for $1,500, but I'll have it in my packet for the teacher appreciation. That's for the one verb they have every year.
Second. Yeah, tell us more.
Right.
So we had done the big guesstimate, right,
Oh, yeah.
at the beginning of the year.
That's right.
And we found out that we did not have enough funds.
Okay.
We didn't guesstimate big enough.
Okay.
So the money we allocated before,
Yeah, I need more.
you need more?
I need more.
Yep.
Things are more expensive.
Yep.
Shipping is more expensive. So we are asking for another $1,500.
These are for like the things for the meals, the teacher,
It's
like, because we
teacher
try to do them all at
meals,
once.
The little gifts,
Yep.
all those type of things.
Okay.
All right.
Do we have a motion on the floor right now?
What?
Did
Yes.
somebody make the
I
motion?
made the motion.
Okay, you did. All right. You seconded. Thank you. There's so many motions today. All right. Any other discussion on that one?
21 left.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Abstentions. All right. I'm going to make a motion. So is JFBC, is that all ready from
No.
legal review?
No.
Table?
We're gonna need to table that again.
Okay.
Will Phillips from the New Hampshire School Board Association has suggested that we wait until this fall.
Okay.
Before we revisit that, because he's, assuming there'll be legislative changes that
Sure.
need to be incorporated.
Okay. All right. So I guess we can table this until September then.
Perfect.
All right. All right. Up next, we have some first reading. I'll make the motion that we approve for first reading policy JICA, student dress code.
I'll second.
Okay, discussion on that. As you can see, we've got the updates as we've been talking about. Has a little picture of a person, which helps.
That's helpful.
It's very helpful. It's cut and dry. No, maybe a little uniform. That's all they were. Just no discussion on dress code.
Jeez.
Well, we'll have this coming back to our next meeting for second reading and adoption. So if you have any further discussions or thoughts on it,
I'm
bring it
curious
forward.
about the whole hoods thing. So we are okay with baseball caps now and other hats, but we're not okay with hoods. What's the reasoning behind that?
I believe the understanding for that is there are kids that will put their earbuds in or use their phones or something like that. We ran into an issue with a student gaining access to the building here, and he was just so far covered up in his hood, they couldn't see who he was. So I guess with the hat, you can still see a good portion of the face.
when you get the hood, and the kids don't just wear the hood, they wear the hood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot of
Yeah.
discussion
Can't
about
wear
that
one
in
of
EIC before they left, like they
Yeah.
pull it and then just like
Yeah.
disengage, and so
Disappear
like if
in
they're
the
wearing
Don't
like a
we
baseball
talk
cap or
about
like a
this?
knit cap, it's like a heavy
I don't know.
warm thing versus it being like a disengagement.
It's a good distinction.
I think it's a good move to start allowing kids to wear hats. I mean,
Yes.
did teachers really want to fight about that?
No,
And then-
that was
No.
what they said.
I do not want to fight about a hat. And
It's
it's
silly in today's day and age.
What kind of like hoods like these?
Yeah, like these, that's what she was just
You
explaining.
can't bring in with this?
Well, no, you can do it, but you just can't,
wear
you just can't do this all day. You can't just sit there in class like this.
Or then they'll put their earbuds in and listen to music
I
or
mean, that
whatever.
makes a lot of sense.
I mean, I don't want to run a meeting like this. This is silly.
You wouldn't. You wouldn't. You'd be kicked
But you
out
look really
before.
cool,
Exactly.
So you can wear a
you could
sweatshirt
your
with a hood as long as you're not wearing it.
Right, not wearing
That's
it.
what I was just saying. You walk in
Yeah.
there like this.
Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, any sweatshirt is fine as long as you're not just wearing it in the building.
Jeez.
Okay, okay.
All right, good deal. Any other discussion on dress code? All right, all those in favor of first reading signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Abstentions. All right, and then we have the annual review of those five policies. Any discussion on any of those? I don't believe we actually have to like adopt them. We just have to review them and bring them.
Yes, correct, we'll just note them as reviewed in
Yep.
this meeting.
Any discussion on any of those policies at all? Now's your chance. All right. Agenda items for next meeting, we'll have committee reports, class size projections, some quarterly reports, support staff nominations. Next meeting, we should probably also set the date for our board retreat in June. Probably at least get starting about that. Like, people, would you like to do a Sunday afternoon, Saturday morning? I don't know what works for people.
I probably won't be at the next meeting because I'm starting that show that I'm doing.
Oh, that's right, okay.
And it's Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays, so Sunday would be better.
Okay,
for
yeah, we
retreat.
typically done Sundays, so. Cool. All right.
Yeah, and I won't be at the next meeting.
Okay.
It's the second Sunday of the month. I always serve a community dinner
Oh, okay.
on Sunday.
Okay, but you won't be neither of you will be at the next board meeting. That's good to know. All right, good. All right, public comment.
Just one which you know about already is open enrollment.
Yep.
Passed the education committee.
Yep.
And it passed without amendment, which means it's gonna be the Senate bill. It's going to the full House. It's gonna go to finance. Finance is gonna send it to full House.
Yeah, they'll pass on it, yeah.
And the one that it's going to be is, you can set the number of kids coming in. You cannot set the number of kids leaving. As many kids that want to leave can leave. So,
Yeah.
just putting it out there. And of course, I'm the old guy in the crowd, so I'm going to say, as far as I'm concerned, there shouldn't be hats in classrooms. Sorry, but, you know, I'm sorry, I went to a high school where it was suitcoats and ties. So, you know, where I'm coming from. The other thing is, we did the April boxes today. I'm disappointed. Because Thanksgiving, we had 65 boxes. Christmas, we had 52. February, we had 40. Today, we had 30. I don't think there's 30 fewer families that need food. So, I can't do anything about it, because I don't know who the families are with Friends of Mascoma. I do know that I brought out food for 45 today, because we were told it's gonna be about the same as it was in February, and then we found out 2 days ago that it's 30. Now, I'm just saying, you know?
Is that because
I
there's
think
not
there's
enough
more-
donations, or what happened?
Families didn't sign up.
Families didn't sign
okay.
up.
What's that?
Okay.
Families didn't sign up.
Families did not sign up
What?
Okay.
for food boxes for the vacation week.
Right, I'm hearing.
Families did not sign up.
Okay.
We've gone from 60
Yeah.
Thanksgiving to 30 for April.
I wonder if more people sign up for a holiday versus a vacation, just because
Yeah,
they're
but
thinking, I don't know,
even-
but that's a big
even
drop.
10 left
That's a big drop.
in a 6-week period between the end of February and today.
Yeah.
Well, I questioned it in November, December, because obviously in my job, I'm very acutely aware of food
Yeah.
issues.
Right.
And there was the whole thing that happened during November with like all benefits being suspended,
Oh, yeah.
not getting funded. So I could see an uptick there, but it is surprising that it's continued to decline, especially given that like the cost of food is certainly not going down, especially with all of the cost of increases of fuel and fertilizer and things like that. So I'm just curious, is there an ask? Is there is there some way that there's like a better way to get word out to try to make, I mean, I feel like it's sort of the same thing that's happening with like people not applying for free and reduced lunches. Like how do we get people to engage with these programs that are so wonderful and being offered?
I mean, I got multiple, as a parent of a high school student, I got multiple emails from the high school saying like, sign up for your box. And it's like, I don't know what,
Dan, the number you just said was what, went from, you brought 45? You brought, how many did you bring in?
For 45, there were only 30 because we had set everything up for 45.
Okay,
3 days ago. And it ended up being 30.
So it ended up being 30, but you got 15 more left, correct?
They've got food here that's going to be going into the pantry.
Well, that's for the vacation?
That's for the April vacation.
Okay, so can Tina find out about?
Yeah, I can talk to Lindsay Creek, the social worker.
Because Tina, the social worker, knows the thing, and that's privy to them, and have her relay that. Find out what.
I mean, we brought up.
Yeah, but
4
that way it won't go to
pounds of fish
waste.
for every kid for the 30 boxes. Plus, we bought up 4 cases of meat.
Wow.
There's got to be some people.
Take as much as you want.
That's awesome.
Until the meat runs out.
Can Lindsay like maybe cross-reference who signs up earlier in the year to who signs up later and be like, hey, you didn't sign up? Or she knows, she knows probably better than anyone else.
She does.
Like, maybe have her cross-reference that a week before or something, I don't know.
Just have Tina and the social worker, I'll be able to get that together.
I mean, it was somewhat disappointing.
You got time to do that.
I mean, we usually have 3 pallets coming up here. We only got 2 small pallets because.
It's surprising. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
All right.
We got that.
Cool. So we do have, all right, no other crowd comment. So we do have our green sheets here. We have new nominations and volunteers. Someone would like to make a motion to accept those.
I'll make a motion to accept the green sheet nominations as written.
Okay.
Second.
All right. Any discussion or questions? All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Abstentions. And it says here we have non-public for purposes of hiring, correct?
Yes, but before you do that, I might suggest that you add an item to your agenda, and that might be the school board photo.
Oh, sure thing. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. We're all here.
I mean, it is a little bit like Superman and Clark Kent.
All right, let's do it. Where would you like to go?
Outdoors.
Is there like a funny one? Serious one?
Is there a building that we're holding?
Campbell's in charge of the photos, not me.
All right, let's do that before we adjourn. Campbell, where would you like us to stand?
It works if there's people sit in chairs and then stand behind.
All right, sounds good. All right. I'll put my hood up for this.
You put your hood up there.
You want to get in there? You want to get the photo, Dan?
Otherwise, you're going to have to serve on a subcommittee.
It'll be in front of books, or gonna take them in all that.
I'm not tall.
Neither one of you ladies are tall. Sit in a chair. Come on. Come on. Sit in a chair. You guys are not going to all fit. You're grown-ups. Come on.
And I have a certain air of management.
Brewster, you gotta sit. Brewster, you have to sit. You take your spot.
I'm not too proud to
You have to sit, Brewster.
I'm not getting in.
You're getting in. You guys are grown-ups. Come sit down in a chair.
I'll sit there.
Come on. Over here. There's an empty spot over here. I don't know why this is so hard.
There we go.
Goodness gracious. Like I can't even see Diana. She's
Yes,
sitting
yeah,
up.
I'm right here.
Goodness gracious. Silliest thing.
I'm gonna throw a shirt on here.
That's good.
What?
What?
That's what
Listen,
you're concerned
not
about
the-
is your
not
Bruins
the
jersey,
center.
making sure you can see it?
Thank
So
you.
funny. Good job, everybody. Good job. Way to go. Way to sacrifice, Ethan.
I'm disappointed.
You cut me out?
No,
You cut me out?
I told, there you go. That needed to be in it.
Yeah,
You weren't gonna, no.
It's all
Good
good.
save.
You're not gonna
Oh!
No.
I'm too old.
Look at that recruit.
I'm gonna be
All right, so now we have non-public. We'll do the silly photo in non-public. Yes. I'll make a motion that we go into non-public for purposes of hiring.
Second.
All right, we're gonna go to non-public. All right, so wait, everyone's in a different order. Diane?
Yes.
Dawn?
Yes.
Sorry, Tim, yes.
Who
Joe?
made the-
Yes.
Who made the motion?
I-
Debbie Gacker.
I did,
I'm seconded.
and she seconded.
Thank you.
All right, and then Brewster, non-public?
No.
No, you don't want to go into non-public?
Yes.
Yes, okay, good, yes. Scott? Laura?
Yeah.
All right, we are in non-public. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you in